Good morning. I'm Vice Mayor Smith, the Chair of the Boards and Commissions Committee, and I'd like to welcome you to the May 11th remote meeting. All council committee members and staff are participating virtually. We appreciate your patience as we work through holding these committee meetings a bit differently. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. We are streaming live on our virtual engagement hub, which is All right, I think everybody needs to mute. Do a little reverb there. Okay. We're streaming live on our virtual engagement hub, which is accessible through the virtual engagement hub link on the front page of the city website. We also have an option for the public to listen live by phone. For those of you out there with us today, welcome. For today's meeting, we have the option for people to call in and comment live during the meeting. To call in and comment live, use the same number, 855-925-2801, meeting code 9478. Your phone will be muted and you will hear the meeting live. At this point, speakers will need to push *3 to enter the speaker queue. I will now go through and introduce all committee members and staff who are participating virtually. Please make sure that you mute your microphone if you're not speaking, and then after you speak, please remember to remute. I'll call each council person and staff person. Please just say a quick hello. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Good morning.
Councilwoman Kim Roney.
Hello.
Assistant City Manager Richard White.
Good morning.
Assistant Clerk Jerry Goldberg.
Good morning.
Okay. We'll move into our agenda. We have the approval of April minutes, and we actually have two different minutes that we're going to approve. So I'm going to do it separately. Can I get a motion to approve the April 13th minutes?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and second. Do a roll call vote. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
And myself. The April minutes are approved. Can I get a motion to approve the April 27th minutes?
This is Kim. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. I'll do a roll call for approval. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Minutes have been approved for both meetings. Do we have anyone in the speaker queue for public comment, staff?
There is no one in the queue.
Okay, thank you. So we have three different appointments to make. For three different boards or commissions this morning for our May board appointments. We have Affordable Housing Advisory Commission, Civil Service Board, and the Human Relations Commission. We got recommendations from those boards or chairs. We'll start with the Affordable Housing Advisory Commission. There are 3 seats available. One seat is based on the resolution. They have to have 1 seat from a HACA staff member, then 2 other seats filled by with folks with general housing experience. The board has made a recommendation, but are there any recommendations from the committee?
Vice Mayor, if you'll allow, I'd like to give a brief explanation of why the folks recommended by the Affordable Housing Advisory Commission were the ones recommended.
Okay.
I'll start by indicating that the commission has on its own set up 2 task force.
Mm-hmm.
One task force is the Build Task Force. That is for members who have a particular level of expertise in their given field. And the other is referred to as the Connect. Those are the folks who are more community facing.
Okay.
And when those assignments were given in the last meeting, it became apparent that there were far fewer in the Build task force. And with that in mind, after consideration, the commission put forth Chris Day's name. You recall that Mr. Day is an engineer. And I will say, just on a personal level, having worked with an organization that does affordable housing development, although I don't know him personally, Mr. Day's reputation precedes him, and it is a really, he's held in high regard. Moving forward, of course, you mentioned already that Brandy Woodard, she was the sole applicant from the Housing Authority. Next on the list was Jessie Figuera. She works for Homeward Bound in housing placement, and it was the belief of the commission that someone who deals with the unhoused would be an excellent person to include on their commission. And then finally, Zakia Bell Rogers. There were members who are familiar with her in the community and also felt that she would be a great addition. But the three that were at the head of the list were Brandy Woodard, Chris Day, and Jessie Figuera. So if you're willing to entertain a motion, I will do that, or can wait a few moments if other people have.
Thank you for that, Antoinette. This is Kim, for anyone who's listening, not watching. I am a little concerned, having participated or watched these meetings for a few years now. Chris brings a wide variety of experience with lots of different kinds of development, but we do have a lot of those kinds of development often either at the table or in the audience. This is one of the best historically attended boards and commissions in the whole city. So I've often seen Chris there and participating in public comment, for example. So I wonder if we could entertain Brandy Woodward, Jessie Figuera, especially because of the experience that she brings with the loss of Parker Smith at the table, and Zakia Bell Rogers.
Chris Day, his name has come up quite often. I believe he's been consistently a recommendation of this board. And I think even though there is an assortment of a lot of different professionals at the table, they've recommended him very highly because of his special expertise around civil engineering. Well, we know that Brandy Woodard is our choice. She's, like Councilwoman Mosley said, she is the sole applicant from HACA and a HACA staff member. So we have to entertain the other two appointments on today.
And Vice Mayor, if you'll allow, sorry, one thing I did not mention before, there was actually quite a bit of discussion given to the commission being somewhat of a checkpoint for certain matters, especially when certain levels of expertise are required. In particular, the discussion centered around instances where monies have been given from the Housing Trust Fund only to have to be returned down the road. And it was the opinion of the commission that if matters came before them, especially when folks had a certain level of expertise, perhaps their opinions or their recommendations could be given before it reaches a subsequent level.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I think my concern here is, and we've entertained this conversation in times before. Jessie Figuera, they don't live in city limits. It's Leicester in city limits. And I know that we've made exceptions, so I just wanted to put that forth today, if this would be an exception if this individual is appointed.
Are you
Jerry,
asking
yeah,
Jerry?
I'm asking Jerry to clarify if Leicester, first of all, is Leicester within city limits? I don't think it is. And is this applicant, in fact, a resident of Leicester?
The application does state he is, as resident of city, she stated Leicester.
Okay.
So we do not confirm, we just take what they say. So I would assume that she is not a resident of the city.
Mhm. Are there any thoughts about, well, first of all, are we saying that it's within the county or is Leicester within the city? Does anybody here know? Because we've had this conversation before where a person lived in the county, but they worked in the city, and we made an exception because the person had a specialized profession that was necessary. And I'm raising that because, Maggie, yes.
This is Maggie, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you want to go on, I will get the address and verify if she's a city or county resident for you guys.
Okay, well, let's move on to something I think will be less of a conversation. That is the appointment of our Civil Service Board. We have two recommended appointments, two people eligible and interested in reappointment, and that is Carol Goings and Carter B. Webb. Any discussion?
Actually, I do. This is Kim. I do have a question about that. Because these seats require such unique qualifications and have been difficult for recruitment, what kind of outreach are we specifically doing for the Civil Service Board? And have any barriers to participation been identified?
That would be a Jerry question, and I think she's in conversation.
If you would please repeat that, I apologize. We were checking Jesse's address.
Oh, sure. So my question was, because the Civil Service Board qualifications are so unique and we have so few applicants, what kind of outreach are we doing? And have we identified any barriers to participation?
So the outreach has been our standard. We did not target other than we reached out to the chair to say these are the only applications we got were yours. So it goes to our list, which is over 2,000, I believe. It goes to the media, online, of course. It goes to the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance.
Well, that's okay. I understand our normal list. I'm wondering, because of the specialization of this work, and we have someone who's been willing to serve for so long, but now 3 terms is a long time to be adding on to, that we might want to start looking at ways to specifically target for this in case we ever need another person to fill that role. I am prepared to make a motion.
And who is that you're referring to on 3rd term?
Carol Goins.
Carol.
Yeah.
But she's very interested and excited about serving in her position as a chair. But there's a motion?
Yes, I would make a motion to reappoint Carol Goins and Carter Webb to the Civil Service Board.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second it's on the table. I'll do a roll call vote. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion carried. Jerry, do you have?
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Jesse is not a city resident.
Okay. Now this is my take on it, and then I'll entertain a motion. This is my take on it. Zakia Bell, she works with a special category of homeless individuals, and I believe she too has the same level of expertise that Jesse has with being an advocate and also working with placement. So I would say that I would set a motion to appoint Brandy Woodard, Chris Day, Zakia Bell Rogers.
I'll second.
Okay. With a motion and second, I'll do a roll call vote. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
Aye for myself, and motion carries. We'll move on to Human Relations Commission. We do have 3 recommendations from that board, but we have to fill 2 additional seats. Kim, I know you're the liaison for this commission. Do you have any input or anything to share?
Sure. So I would strongly suggest the reappointment of Tanya Rodriguez, who's the new and current chair, Dolores Venable, who's willing for reappointment, and Veronica Coyne, who's also new to the Human Relations Commission. In reviewing who we have said we want to have seats at this table, there are not currently anyone. There's not currently anyone at the table representing folks in housing authority neighborhoods. Now, our documentation says public housing. So I wonder if we might consider leaving those two positions open for one more month of outreach to see if there are any neighbors interested in serving specifically from housing authority or public housing neighborhoods.
Now, I would recommend that we leave one seat open, and since we don't have many youth represented, and that is a criteria as well, that we seat the 3 today who are recommended, and also Emma Worthy. I know that there are a few seated members who may not be current public housing residents, but they've been lifelong public housing residents, so they bring that expertise and that lens. So in that case, Jerry, if we wanted to leave a seat open, can we still appoint the 4 if approved by the committee, and leave that one seat open to do specialized or targeted outreach?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Let me go back to my list so I can. Kim, would you make that motion and include Emma Worthy?
Surely. So I make a motion to reappoint Tanya Rodriguez, Dolores Venable, Veronica Coyne, and Emma Worthy.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Motion carries. That's all for appointments on today. I'll turn it over to clerk's office for updates.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Smith. So we wanted to provide an update on the new boards and commissions application. We are in the process of revising to digitalize it, first of all, make the process a little bit smoother, and also to increase the demographic information that we are capturing, and to be able to capture it in a consistent, standardized fashion. So right now, the application itself is pretty much done. I am working with IT on the back end on the data gathering and output and reporting, and what that looks like, beta testing it with some folks who have kind of submitted faux applications so that we can work out the kinks before we send it to a selected groups to get additional feedback before we present it to this committee. I think it's looking good. I think you'll be pleased with it. As it stands now, the packets are pretty burdensome to go through with the applications. I think you'll be pleased on what you'll be getting in the future once we finalize it, regardless of the changes that I may make between now and then. And it also will give us a very broad baseline of who we're attracting, and we can see if our outreach and engagement efforts are moving the needle at all on that in a year from now when we take a look back, or a year from when we start using the new application. Any questions, comments on that, thoughts? Okay, awesome. On outreach efforts, let me grab my sheet here.
Jerry, if I could pause for just a second.
Yes.
Have pronouns been included on the application process?
Pronouns themselves have not. Gender identity is a broad field. I think adding pronouns or preferred name or something like that, though, is a good thought, Kim.
It's possible to make it like not a required field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every demographic field has a prefer not to disclose. because you have to, the way it is, you have to answer it, every question, to be able to submit, but every question has a prefer to describe or a prefer not to disclose option, so that you can answer one or all.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's capturing that now. Okay. All right. On outreach media efforts, we've gotten some good response. I still have not connected with Elder Hayes, believe it or not, but I have not gone knocking at the door early in the morning. It is on my list to do. My mornings have just been kind of crazy, but I am going to knock. I have sent another email, and I'm still hopeful. We'll get there. But what we have had is Urban News has put Be a Local Leader little 10th of a page box there that they're running. So we're pleased with that. We have public service announcements running on the Asheville Radio Group cluster of stations, which includes Mix 96.5, 98.1 The River, 105.9 The Mountain, 7 or 8 different stations, and that's running in their open inventory. And iHeartMedia Asheville, which is 570 WWNC, 99.9 Kiss Country, Star 104.3, and their other stations as well, also running in their open inventory. We have JM Pro Media. Rosanna Mulcahy did a Spanish interview with JM Pro Media that is now on their Facebook page. There is a short version that's about 1.5 minutes, and then there's a longer version that's about 7 to 8 minutes. She did a great job. So if you have the opportunity, I can't play back Facebook on this, but if you have the opportunity to check it out, and if you understand Spanish. So we are still finalizing an interview with Hola Carolina with Rosanna. And then Asheville FM is on my list to contact to see if we can get some PSAs going this week there. That's about it. Any questions, thoughts, suggestions? All right.
I just wanted to say thank you. I know this is a big amount of work, and I think it'll have a positive outcome. One other suggestion that I came across this week was what would the cost be of advertising with colleges such as like AB Tech, because so many of those catalogs end up in people's homes, and folks are spending time going through that. So it could be another way to reach out to a group of folks to participate in our community.
Yeah. And for the first time, this office has requested in the budget process some advertising dollars. Whether or not we get those, I'm not sure, but we are working on researching all of that, and we hope to be able to be a little bit more aggressive in our outreach efforts.
Right. And thank you for creating the exit interview form. That's very helpful. And I hope all council members take a look at that, because I think there are a lot of good nuggets that people are leaving to help us develop our boards and commissions better. If there aren't any more comments from the committee, I'll now open up for live comment if there's anybody here today with us.
There are no live callers on the queue.
All right. If there are no additional comments from the committee, this meeting is adjourned. See y'all later.